Okay. So
Probably.
the other thing I like to do is I like to make their work very easy for them. And this, again, it's something you should, these rules are things you should practice internally as well. Okay? Many times I like to send them individual things so that they can just easily see the email and do the call of action. Whether it's a meeting agenda, whether it's for approval on this ad, whatever it is, I like to separate everything for them. However, if you're not hearing back from a client and you're really having issues, you also need to remember that as much as we're getting paid to service them, we're also getting paid to not be a pain in their ass. Okay? And so it's a delicate thing that you have to learn your client, and every client's different. So let's say, you want to make it easy, you always want to seem helpful, maybe you group together 4 outstanding things to keep them in the loop. A lot of times you'll see clients say why didn't you remind me? You met with me, you sent me an email, but why didn't you remind me? Why didn't you just give me a quick checklist on all the outstanding things that you need from me? Make my life easy. That's the client's mentality. So keep that in mind. All right, I'm not going to keep you, longer, but I just want to go through a couple of things. Let's see here. Meeting agendas, always make sure to put the client name, make sure to put the date. I like to be able to put the time as well so that you have a record and you can do your reporting on that. I also like to separate meeting agendas, the content of meeting agendas, into categories. So one of the things that's always important to remember is what's been completed for a client. I like to start many times with, if huge milestones have been completed, or let's say, I don't know, over the past 2 weeks we got X email blast completed and they've already approved it, just to kind of remind them, this is how much we've accomplished. So completed, email blast, da-da-da, and then separate the content as well. So upcoming press releases and writings, completed press releases and writings, collateral updates, events, and again, it just falls in line with the same breakdown of categories and decompartmentalization as well.
This is
I
great.
give you examples of meeting agendas and recaps. One of the things that we'll go through next time is the different types of press release and press materials. Okay, one to do an interior summary, one to do a fact sheet, one to do what information, what's going to be in your PR toolkit in terms of pitching to media. Okay, so it's going to go much quicker, but I think it's very important that you just first understand the history of the agency. The way that I like to think of it, just as a summary, is, and this is something that we're actually going to take to a whole new level this season.
I can read that. I had a teaser.
It's really important that you know that we are, at the heart of what we do, we are a lifestyle branding and PR agency. Okay, we create cultural identities and lifestyle. We give people, fashion and taste and cultural identity and personality. I mean, that's everything that we do. So this is a very different dynamic than any other local company or even national company honestly has, because the agency portion does, the printing and the PR and, the special events and the marketing and all that good stuff, design, etc. But the lifestyle, which we call Gab Life, and that means our Gab VIPs, and we always call them Gab VIPs, this is our promotional fan base. Okay? Nobody, no client, has the right to tell me what to promote to my fan base. That's my belief. It's my company, it's my concept. So when a company signs on to the Gab group, they're definitely, one of the motivating factors is because they know that we can do amazing things and bring people and put butts in seats and everything that they need to make them successful. But just the way that there's a separation of church and state at a magazine, there's a separation of church and state at our company. So I include and make specifications that in some PR packages I will include some blasts. But the agency reserves the right on what content we're sending out, because we want to make sure that our Gab VIPs are only going to be receiving content that they're going to receive well. We're not gonna bombard them or blast them with advertising. We many times will take something that was created for the agency, like an email blast that a client requested, but if they want to promote it to Gab VIP, we may either say, okay, we like that piece, we think it's going to work well for our audience, or we don't, and we're going to redo the piece because we have a loyalty to keeping content creative to our Gab VIPs. Just to kind of let you know what's coming up in terms of the agency, this is what I'm going to work on this next couple of seasons, and I've always had this plan in place. We're developing an app. We're developing a VIP card. We're going to turn, we're developing our own blog site. We're going to develop several different brands for the agency. Brand number 9, the Gab Group will mean the PR portion. Brand number 9 will be the branding portion. Gab VIP will be gabvip.com. It'll be its own blog site. It'll have its own app. It's the same thing. There's a lot of things that we do as part of Gab VIP, like Gab Gifts. You'll see us use that term as we come up to Christmas time. And these are rewards and offers that we give to our Gab VIP. So it's a very different dynamic. And it's a very, again, it's not just the list, it's not. Because we always meet new people. We always want to meet new people. We always want to be exposed to new people. I mean, some of the people on our original list are, we're not interested in having them come to our events anymore. We're always looking for fresh, new experiences. And so you'll see that whenever we have, a mock service or even, we'll research new people because people change and markets change. So you constantly have to be on the cutting edge of, reaching out to somebody who's new. So I'm just going to stop it at that. You can take a look at the rest of some of our videos. Definitely take a look at the Miami Subs
Yeah, that's a great one.
video because that's a great example of how collateral plays into marketing and how we believe in really having everything look the part. I really do need about 2 weeks to be able to finish this training. And Cynthia, one of the things I'd like to do after is and maybe this is even something that Sarah, that you both can work on, I'm doing something different. I'd like to do testing. Because I've trained and trained and trained and trained, and at the end of the day, I want you all to be able to run through an exam, do a meeting agenda for me, write a media confirmation email for me, write, I just want to get that done as like basic training, because I think it'll help everyone. I think it'll make sure that everyone is keeping up with the same quality standards.
We actually have 3 meetings set next week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
So I was trying to put them in regular intervals. So we
Perfect.
can
One
knock
of
it
the
out
things I
quick.
think that would be helpful throughout this process is look at the PR folders, ask the questions, come prepared with any questions that you have in terms of discrepancies. What do? I saw this. What's a master deliverable? We'll go through all the specific tools and technology after, but you could always, take the time to prepare before these meetings and see if there's any questions that you have. Okay?
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.